Hi Frauders, this is Alex Baker, Chief Information Officer with Tau Kappa Epsilon International Fraternity. I'm here today to talk about the Amf Worksheet, the annual membership fee worksheet, also known as the roster. This process is completed by Grand Province Advisors here on the chapter module, as you see here. I've already logged in, and so if you don't have an account, please try to claim an account, and if you have any problems doing that, on module.tka.org, there's a claim your account link. If you have any problems, though, email us back at support@tka.org, and we'll be able to get you taken care of and help you get an account set up. So I'm here in the chapter module on the forms section here. You can see we have 3 forms that need to be completed for Omega Omega, which is our test chapter that we used here at the Office of the Grand Chapter to test out some items and new features here. So these AMF forms 1, 2, and 3 are sequential, so it's very important that you do complete them in order. So we will start with AMF worksheet number 1 here. All right, now that the page has loaded, we've got a couple of options here. The very first you're presented with is payment options. You have an option to choose all single, all split, or a combination. All single or all split will it will preset all of those for every member that you go through on Form 2. This is a huge time saver by putting that information in first. So I would recommend, even if you don't know the answer and the student you're speaking with isn't sure right away, I would go ahead and choose either all single or all split. And then just go ahead and change them on a case-by-case basis as you get through it. As you can imagine, a chapter of 50 or 100 men, this really adds up the amount of time to complete each section. So we'll go ahead and click all single. Number of members with lifetime fee paid and the number who've paid the lifetime AMF. In this chapter, it is 0. If there are any, that number will increase, and it'll show you a list of names. So as you're completing this roster, you'll be speaking with a student, and so we'll type in, the student's name there, what office role they hold, Preakness, for example. We know that this is an average TEAC chapter size, so we're going to say that their roster is 45. And the last option here is the chapter assessment fee. And you've got a couple of options, either $390 a semester or $500 a year. The system will automatically bill based on what your selection is here. Chapter assessment fee, you can save a lot of money by paying upfront in a $500 amount instead of the two payments of $390. So talk to the students about that. We'll go ahead and in this and choose the $500 for the year. Then you have 2 buttons displayed here: save this form and complete later, which will give you the ability to actually save it but not complete it. And save this form and submit will then take all the information you've collected here and process it through the next form. So we'll go ahead and click Save this form and submit. The form was completed, so now we're going to hop to back to Form 2 by clicking on the Forms icon. And now you see Form 1 disappeared, and now we're on Form 2. Now this form is the membership form. So this lists some information here about the black book on top, and then lists each member from that specific chapter. So this will give you some membership status options from the year in school, whether they've graduated, they left school, whether they're study abroad, active military, or transfer. If you select transfer, please indicate where they are transferring to. So in this case, I'm going to say University of Tau Kappa Epsilon. As we talked about, Form 1 populates a field on Form 2 here, and that's the payment type. So because we chose all single, it pre-populated all single for everybody. Has this member paid their lifetime fee? This is not an editable field. If they have paid it, it will display the text paid, and payment type, they will not get billed. I realize there is not an option here to choose lifetime fee, but the code and behind the scenes actually knows that if they have paid their lifetime fee, it doesn't actually bill them. So we'll go through and finish the rest of these students here. Put some information, choosing various different options. Normally, you'll go through with the student and ask each individual member about each individual member on what status they are here. So, and when we're done, we're going to save and submit this form. And then this is going to take us back to a confirmation screen. We're going to go back to the forms page here in a second, and then work on Form 3. So this has been completed. Hop back to Forms, Form 3. So now here it pulls information from the other two forms. We entered on Form 1 that there were 45 people. On Form 2, we only submitted that there are 5 people. Of course, this is a test, so normally those numbers should be pretty accurate. But occasionally they're off a very slight amount. And so usually that's because there are some people who've come back because they either left school for a semester or a year, etc. And so there are some options on this form to go through that. It also gives you the option to review what you submitted. So we had one senior, one mid-year graduate, one junior, etc., through all of the statuses. If there's something that was screwed up, then, as you're going through this with each of the students, there's some correction areas here where you can go and correct the individual forms or individual people. If they're a returning alumni, so the system looks at anybody who is marked as an alumni in the last 2 years. Typically that's because they've left school or something, and so this then gives you an option to review those names with the student and make sure they're all accurate. And then if any of those are returning, put them here in the reactivate alumni person 1, 2, and 3. Any returning DNIs, men who did not initiate, sometimes those men actually come back and need to just be reactivated on a roster. And so if there are any returning DNIs, you'd enter those in. Any transfers, anybody who might have come from a different TEAC chapter and is transferring there, make sure to include all of them. You've got the forms here to do that. And then last, enter any other comments here. In this case, you have to enter something. So in this case, there are no additional comments. Save and complete this form. And that finishes up the AMF rosters. If you have any questions, feel free to email us back at support@tke.org, and we will be glad to answer any questions or problems you might have. You can also contact me directly at 317-872-6533, extension 228, and I'd be glad to help you through this process if you have any questions. Thank you very much, and have a great day, Frauders.